Hello, this is Daniel again with Boss C351 Productions. Today we're going to be working on a 2000 Mazda B3000 truck with the Ford 3.0 V6. Now basically what this is a Ford Ranger, but it's got Mazda badges all over it. And the reason we're working on the truck today is because of the heater hose T at the front of the intake. Now, I just did a head job on this truck. Everything went great. Went out, drove it, no problems. Got back home and opened the hood, and there was a steady stream of coolant coming from this T. Now, I've cleaned the T up, and you can see the holes that have eroded, or the erosion in it that's caused the holes from the coolant and the water. Now, this thing's, it's about 18 years old now. And these are the kind of things that happen with older trucks. Now here's our replacement. This is a DORMAN part number 47993. Now if you go to looking it up online at the various parts places across the United States, if you look it up under a Mazda B3000, this part says it does not fit. Even on the DORMAN website, it says this part does not fit the Mazda B3000. However, if you switch your search over to a 2000 model, then it shows it fits. Folks, I've contacted DORMAN and let them know the error. This is basically the same truck, just a little bit different body stylings, but it's the same truck as a Ford Ranger of that year. So let's get started on getting this repair done. Okay, the first thing we need to do, we're going to have to unhook the mass airflow sensor, the air temperature sensor. We have a positive crankcase ventilation fresh air tube that goes to the valve cover. Just unhook it here. We're going to take this clamp loose. See it? Holds this hose on. And then we're going to pop these two clips where it releases the cover for the air filter. Once we get all that loose, then we're going to check this tube out. Okay, now that we have that off, the next thing we're going to we're going to take the fan shroud off and the fan. Now to get the fan shroud off, you have two bolts. One there, and you've got one here. Take those loose, it's down in some clips. You just pull up on the fan shroud, but you're not going to be able to get the fan shroud out until you take the fan loose. Now the fan shaft is on reverse threads. That means instead of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, you're going to go left to go tight and right to go loose. There's two ways you can go about this. You can put a wrench on it, and you can hit the wrench with a dead blow hammer. Maybe you can get it loose just by the shot. If you cannot get it loose, you're going to have to get an air hammer or air chisel with a point on it, and you're going to have to hit the shaft in the direction that you want the shaft to turn. Now, if you look down there, you can see I had to get hold of this thing with the air chisel because it did not want to come loose with a wrench. So I'm going to get this out and we'll go to the next step. Okay, I've got the fan and the fan shroud off. Now the next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the accessory drive belt off. Your tensioner's right here. What you want to do is you want to take tension off of the belt with the tensioner and take the belt off. The next thing after that, you have an AC line here. This AC line is in the way of what you need to do. So you're going to take it loose right here and just make sure the line is loose, movable. The next thing you want to do, you're going to actually have to take the tensioner off, because behind the tensioner is a bolt that holds all these accessories that are tied together with a bracket. There's a bolt back there you've got to take loose to take this whole thing, loose from the engine block. You don't have to take it out, you just got to take it loose. Now, if you look, I've already taken the fitting out, and I have jerry-rigged it and just put the sending unit in the hole. I had to have the truck to drive to work, and this part is not readily available at my local parts houses anywhere around here, and I had to special order it, and it took about a week to get it. So if you run into this trouble like I did, you can just plug out, you can take this heater hose off and just plug it. I've got an old sending unit, in fact, just plugging it for now, and put your new sending unit, or the one that you have, in there to plug that hole. You'll still get temperature and everything, but that's just a quick fix just to get you back on the road. So let's get this stuff out, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, we've got those out. Next thing, we're going to take this accessory cluster loose. We're not going to take it completely out, we're just going to move it away from the engine. Basically tilt it that way to get the fitting, get your old fitting off, but also get the new fitting on, because it's got this nipple on it that will not clear this part of the bracket. It will hit here, and so you cannot rotate it. That's why you have to take all these accessories loose and shift them to the side so you can rotate that fitting back into the intake. Now you've got a bolt here. You've got a bolt. So this is where the tensioner was. There's a bolt straight back in here. And you also have 2 more bolts you're going to have to take out. There's one right here. You can see it. There's one right there. And then further down and in, there's another bolt. Right there. The one furthest to the left. Okay, we've got the accessory cluster loose, and all we need to do is we need the accessories to drop down a little bit out of the way so we can rotate off this fitting that fits here. And once I get the fitting back on there, you'll see why, because it will not clear right here when this is installed. You can't rotate it off. Also, I want to mention that I missed a bolt. And if you look, there's a bolt hole there, a bolt hole there. I missed this one here. Make sure you don't miss that when you're taking this apart, because I mean it'll fall loose when you get all the bolts out. Otherwise, if it's still tight, you're missing the bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this fitting out and get this unplugged. Now I do want to tell you, I've already drained the coolant in the vehicle, and you don't have to drain it all out. You just drain it down to the level just low enough where it's not going to leak all your coolant out in the top of the engine. Okay, so let me get this done and we will continue on. Okay, I run into a brick wall. The part that was from DORMAN, I got it on there and went to put the sensor in the top of it, or the sending unit in the top of it, and found out that it was not manufactured correctly. It's supposed to have pipe thread right there where the sending unit goes, and the unit from DORMAN was a standard thread fitting. The sending unit would not go in it. It went about a quarter of a thread into the unit. So I had to stop everything, drop everything, and go search out parts stores which didn't have anything. The closest replacement they're getting for me is in Colorado, and of course it's going to be next week before it gets here, and we figure it's going to be wrong too. So I've contacted DORMAN via email, because they're closed today. They closed yesterday at the time I finished working on the truck and finding out that it was wrong. But I had to go to both Lowe's and Home Depot. Actually, Home Depot had everything I needed, but Lowe's was my first stop. They had some of the stuff, and I've had to rig up something to make it work, and it's gonna work. It clears, and this is what I came up with. It's several fittings put together. Now what this is several 3/8 fittings put together. Half-inch adapter because the barb at the bottom, the 5/8 barb that fits the hose, has a half-inch female end, so I had to get a half-inch 3/8 adapter. But as you see, it's going to work. I'm gonna have to cut the hose a little bit shorter, rewrite the hose so I don't have to cut it. Maybe I can get the right part on there eventually. But that is what I was able to come up with. So what I'm going to do now, I'm reassemble the entire front end of the engine. But that's generally how you replace this fitting. Alright, thank you for watching.